I want to know what is the easiest, aka best business to start if you have a demanding W-2. As we go through this economy and it starts to feel a lot more uncertain, I believe a lot of you should be considering plan Bs. But I think we have to ask yourself, Michael, I already work 60 hours. I have a family responsibility. I'm trying to stay healthy. So let's talk about what the best business to buy or start if you have a demanding W-2 job. Where, of course, we bring on Bo Eckstein, the concierge to small business lending. Bo, I bet you get this question all the time. What are your thoughts on the best business for a demanding W-2?
All right. This is very common. So let's start with I'm going to give you the overview of the business models. One is obviously vending. We talk about vending a lot. That's a great gateway business. Coffee as a service or subscription. Every employer has coffee at their office building. That is a 95% of income coming in is recurring, and it can be very semi-absentee. And then there's also the recycle clothes bin franchise, which I think is a great business model, and that is pretty semi-absentee as well. And you can actually grow that fairly large because you just put out more bins. The next business up, I would say, is a dumpster business where you just drop the dumpsters off. We have several business models within there. So we have even air-conditioned boxes, right? And so they get dropped off. Maybe it's a restoration job and people need to pack up the furniture and they need it climate controlled. So that is, you need a yard and you need a driver and a salesperson, essentially. So those are really examples. Now, the dumpster businesses, those are higher ticket. Okay, you're going to spend a lot more money because you're investing in these big bins. But for some people that make a lot of money and want really good tax write-offs, when you buy those bins and spend several $100 grand on those, you can potentially offset some of that earned income. Many people might not have, 100 or 200,000 to, 100, let's say 100,000 liquid or 200,000 liquid. Maybe you're starting with 20,000 liquid. Then we look at the smaller buy-in business models, which would be vending, the coffee, subscription-based coffee where you're servicing these coffee machines. So essentially that business, to unpack it, because we've talked about vending, but the coffee as a subscription or service business model, it's a franchise model. You essentially get top line coffee machines. You then build relationships with these employers via email and some other avenues of marketing. They say, yes, we want this $6,000 or $7,000 coffee machine for free. You then install it, and then you're billing them essentially about 90 cents a cup every time. And the employer typically pays for that. So that thing just will start over time printing money. So now you work, so you have 40, 50, 60 of these out there in the marketplace for you. And then you would keep your W-2, but you would hire a technician. That person would go to the machines about once a week per machine. And then each machine needs to be descaled once a month. And that's about a 45 minutes per machine. So that's a business model. And then you just think about it, as you grow that, it's just going to keep on bringing in revenue. And then you'd break it down and say, okay, one machine after expenses will probably yield me X amount in my pocket. You formulate how many machines. I was just at a conference. I met a gentleman that's been doing that for 30 years. He has 1,500 accounts and makes a couple $100 per machine per month. So you just do the math there. He's built an empire in the coffee business. So super boring business, but it's got all the components of a great business: recurring revenue, the dumpster business.
Yeah.
All these businesses can be semi-absentee. Home service is a little bit more tricky, although there are some home service models. The key there is hiring the right general manager. So most businesses can be semi-absentee, but people have to understand in the beginning, they have to do a lot more work to get it semi-absentee.
Yeah. When I look at some of these businesses we've talked to, and it just hit me on the coffee one, there's both a physical component, right? The bin, the machine, the vending machines, all of that. And given what I think's in President Trump's tax bill, it looks like they're bringing back bonus depreciation, which again, if you're a high income W-2 earner, is something that should be very intriguing, because again, you could get a loan to purchase the machines and then potentially, if it makes sense for your tax situation, write off 100% of that in year one, which could be pretty significant for some people.
Yeah, I want to point out something. Somebody left a comment on one of our previous videos, and it was like, "Come on, real estate's a better, the cost seg and the depreciation." And I just want to, I read that and it did resonate because I come from a real estate background. However, the difference is, for the gentleman that left that comment, is that some people don't have the capability to come up with down payments for houses, because some of these houses are $250,000, $400,000. You need $100,000. I'm talking about getting in businesses that might be 15 or 20 grand out of pocket in conjunction with SBA. So I think that's a valuable point. I agree wholeheartedly. Real estate has amazing deductions if you're considered, or if you materially participate and are considered a real estate professional. If not, you don't get the same write-off. So even investing in syndications, you need to know that. But yes, real estate has phenomenal tax advantages. I would never argue that. But we're talking today to a couple of people, but I'm talking specifically to somebody who's like, they're making six figures, but they don't have a big savings. And they're like, I need to do something, right? And that's a lot of people, because I talk to a lot of people that don't have any money left over and they're making decent money. So the system is broken. So that's why you have to own a small business, because there's better benefits and you can leverage a little bit better within business ownership in the beginning, in my opinion.
No, I think I really look at this as a plan B. I mean, for Olivia and I, our story, but for the audience, our plan B was our rental portfolio. But we happened to be in a situation where my income was indexed to selling lots and lots of software, and I happened to be in the top, I don't know, 1 or 2% of that profession. So I could make those chunk money. Lots of people don't have that flexibility and option. Also, lots of people are afraid right now because of AI or other things. So getting ahead of this and creating a plan B, a parachute, is a great way to go. And then let's not forget that even though I was really, really good at my job, I went to my job one day and didn't have it the next day. So that can happen, right? And, sometimes it gets taken away from you when you don't want it or you didn't see it coming. And sometimes you can plan for it. Now, going into a recession, plan B is a great way to go. And if it could be semi-absentee, or if you're lucky enough to have kids that you can get around and go to these vending machines and make a game of it, or, selling coffee service. It's just, there are plenty of ways that you can start a business and not leave your job, but you can have that plan B slowly building on the side. I think it's a wise and good option for lots of people.
I was talking to an ORAT gentleman, and he owns a real estate brokerage in Arizona last week, and I'm actually looking for some business models for him right now. And he's like, look, I'm strapped with time, but I've got a business partner, and we're going to do it collectively. And so they have a wholesale and real estate brokerage. So it makes sense for them to maybe look at a home service. So I'm going to show them
I love that. I mean, dude, if you're following me and you're a real estate agent, you're a real estate broker, you're a mortgage broker, you're anything in real estate, and you're not thinking about how to add different legs to the stool, you're missing out. I've been telling all of you that this year is going to be the last hard year, and it sucks, and it sucks for lots of people. But going into next year, I just heard mortgage brokers, there's 65% less mortgage brokers than there were 3 years ago. You guys are going to go ham when this turns around. So why not also offer other services? Think about it, right? I just talked to Matt, the mortgage guy. He's got 1,600 clients that he's worked with over the last 4 or 5 years. That's clients. That's not prospects. He's probably worked with 10,000 prospects. But what if Matt had another side of his business, like, I don't know, AC repair or something else or something else? The ability to create almost a vertically integrated home services, if you're in the industry already, is a no-brainer, dude. It's freaking a no-brainer.
Well, that's what I did. I was started in residential lending, got into commercial fix and flip lending, then got into SBA lending, and then got into helping people find businesses. So today I help them find and fund their ideal business because it's vertically integrated. I'm always looking for another way to incorporate some other integrations, right? And then we buy into the whole fact that, hey, we're going to do the work and we're going to do videos, right? And our YouTube channel. And I did that too. And that grew my business, right? So all these things that can integrate and they complement each other, like, you should make a revenue stream from them. I do that.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't
And
agree more, yeah.
so just because you're doing, you're something, you're this IT worker, or you're this police officer or whatever, doesn't mean you can't have multiple streams of income. I think everybody needs multiple streams of income, because when times are good, then you really reap the rewards. When times are bad, you still reap the rewards because you have money coming in other vehicles. And then that's what I've realized. Sometimes the lending slows down, sometimes it doesn't. Well, the good thing about money is everybody needs money, so it doesn't really ever slow down for me. But yeah, get vertically integrated with whatever you do. If you're not ready to quit the W-2, that's fine, but get into one of these businesses. And yes, you'll put work in, and yes, it's not easy, but if you follow, these are all systems, and you're going to get coaching, and you're going to have, it's not like you're going in by yourself. So I would encourage you at minimum to go to onerentalmeeting.com and schedule a 20 or 30 minute call with me. But let's just talk, get to know each other, see what we can do. And let me give you some ideas. I'll have you take a business assessment. That's just starting point, right? I would say if you want to make a change, it's easy to make a change. If you have a 680 credit score, you have access to 20 or 30 grand, maybe even sometimes a lot less than that, but have good credit. We can stack in SBA financing. We can get you into one of these businesses for 10 to 20 grand out of pocket. Some of them obviously more. There's a never better time. We always talk about being creative financing. SBA is one of the best vehicles for building wealth. It really is. I'm 100% that FHA loans, right? Fix and flip loans. These are all tools that are available for us, and we need to take advantage to create wealth, because in the beginning, you have to use other people's money. And at the end, you still want to use other people's money.
I like it. Folks, at the end of the day, he's outlined the process for you. You have to take the first step, though. You have to either want a plan B, or you want to learn more about these businesses that you could start while working full time. And you do that by going to onerentalmeeting.com, find a 15, 20, 30-minute slot, and get on the phone. You'll take an assessment, so it will help identify what fits you. Bo, thank you so much. Keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you.